Hey everybody, thanks for joining us. We're on, like Samantha said, week 18 with the fascia and trigger point. So it's at the top of page 26 in the booklet if you're following along there. And so fascia is the connective tissue that makes up like the shape and look of our body. It wraps around, muscles, um, the whole muscle itself, and then groups of muscle fibers, and then each individual muscle fiber. And fascia, like in the foot, is still connected to the fascia that's up in the head. It's like if you took a big piece of tissue paper and compressed it and then like formed it into like a person. It's just one big piece of tissue that then kind of goes through and wraps around the muscles. It holds the organs in place, um, wraps around the nerves. And I would say that, fascia is also responsible about how we react to the environment, not necessarily directly, but kind of indirectly. And it holds negative energies out. And it also, sometimes when tightened up, it holds energy in. And so this could be emotion, this could be things in the unconscious, this could be even an aspect that holds us in repetitive thought. So unwinding the fascia helps energy to move in the body. It helps emotions be more fluid. It helps the nervous system function better. It helps us to be able to release. And I find that when I go through and work this, my body feels lighter because it's like it's able to breathe better, you know? Sometimes when we have like an area like a back or a shoulder that's not responding to treatment, where it's aches, it's achy or it's in pain, some of it is that the muscles are trying to loosen up, but the connective tissue around them is tight. So this is actually even a piece of what we would call scarring or adhesions or uh, yeah, things of that nature. Uh, Sometimes we call it a lesion. It's not a growth, it's just an area of the tissue that's got really bound up. And so with that, you know, you would think that just topically is the way to go through and treat this, but inhaling actually is a good way to release connective tissue and fascia. So with that, you can see that it impacts a lot of different conditions. Um, but let's get started. And so in your kit, the blend is Fascial Release. So you're inhaling with your awareness on the left side of your body, left side of your face and neck, your left shoulder, left ribs, left hip, all the way down to the left outer ankle. Nice, long, slow, deep breaths. You're taking nice, long, slow, deep breaths. Your awareness is still on the left side of your body. Then the front side of the body, the whole front side, your face and throat, your chest, abdomen, down the fronts of your legs to the tops of your feet. Your awareness is on the right side of the body. Right side of your face and neck, your right shoulder, all the way down to the hip, down the outer leg to the right outer ankle. The back side of the body, the whole back side, back of the head and neck, the whole back, the hips, the backs of the legs, all the way to the heels. Nice, long, slow, deep breaths. Pause and be still. So that is the standard approach. You can use that integrated with another protocol or a process that you're doing. You can use it to augment some sort of treatment, even if you're putting on topical oils and things to treat, a back issue, a shoulder issue, arthritis, things like that. Um, but if we want to go through and we treat this deeper, we'll use the advanced approach. And a lot of times you might only do this once or twice in a week, where the standard approach, you could do it daily. So again, you're using the same oil. Your awareness is on the left side of the body, making you yawn quite a bit. Yeah. Yeah. It's making Samantha yawn. That's maybe the 15th or 20th yawn. Yeah, it's very relaxing. It helps to reset the anabolic state when we sleep, and it's very releasing. So left side of your body, left side of your face and neck, your left shoulder and ribs, your left hip, all the way down to the left outer ankle. Back side of the body, back of the head and neck, the whole back, the hips, the back of the legs, all the way down to the heels. And then the right side of the body. Right side of the face and neck, the right shoulder, all the way down to the right outer ankle. And then the front side of the body, the face and throat, the chest, the abdomen, down the fronts of the legs to the tops of your feet. And then just pause and be still. Your awareness is on your knees, either the whole knee or the back side of the knee, but your knees. The ankles. Your awareness is on the ankles. The soles of the feet. And then just be still. Again, you're starting with the left side of your body, left side of your face and neck, your left shoulder, left ribs and hip, all the way down to the left outer ankle. The front side of the body. The face and chest. Abdomen, front of the pelvis. Down the fronts of the legs to the tops of the feet. The right side of your body, right side of your face and neck, your right shoulder and ribs, your right hip, all the way down to the right outer ankle. And then the back side of the body, back of the head and neck, your whole back, your hips, down the backs of your legs to your heels. And then just pause. Interesting, you yawned a whole bunch in the beginning and then it kind of stopped. Hmm. Okay, the last little section. Your awareness is on the brain. Your awareness is on the spine. Your brain and spine both at the same time. The brain and the soles of the feet, both at the same time. The brain and the soles of the feet. And as you inhale, move your awareness up above your ankles. As you exhale, you move your awareness down into the earth. Then just pause and let go. Now, you could say this helps with, I mean, it's not the complete thing that pushes the body into a deeper healing state, but the healing state while you sleep is known as like the anabolic state, where your body rejuvenates or regenerates. You know, the immune system, the nervous system, the endocrine system all kind of reboot. And the same goes for all the muscle in the body, the skeletal muscle, the smooth muscle, which is your, urinary tract, your digestive tract, your respiratory tract, and then also the cardiac muscle. And so, this isn't necessarily a complete treatment, but when you're doing other things to heal the body and bring the body to a deeper level of healing state, this is a piece of it. If you're not sleeping well, you're not hitting that anabolic state. And so this kind of unwinds some of the issues that happens when we don't get deep enough sleep. The manifestation would be the generation of trigger points or fascial restrictions in the body. And so, anyway, let's go ahead and share experiences. I was noticing, like we were kind of talking as we were going through and doing this, when we first started doing this. I mean, Samantha, you probably yawned like 25 times, right? And then about halfway through, nothing. Like she was just sitting there, she was all chill, but that first, like she was just yawn after yawn after yawn after yawn. And so, um, yeah, this combined with other things for like vagal tone and the vagus nerve and healing the different aspects of the body, and they're all a piece of it. The body's very complex, so sometimes you have to come at it from a lot of different angles. But anyway, let's go ahead and share, unmute, um, type in, and ask questions. So go ahead and fire away.
And again, for now, we're sticking to the shares and questions around this process with the Auric program, and then I'll cue you guys for the regular Q&A.
Yeah.
And go ahead, Linda, start us out.
Hey,
Hi, hello everybody.
hey, how'd you do?
Good. I was kind of jittery when we started, and I'm not anymore, and that's nice.
Oh, very good.
Yeah. My question though is,
Mhm.
when is it appropriate to use it topically?
It's kind of a way to like cheat from having to like do this whole process. You could kind of slap it on the body. It would do a very similar thing. In the early days before I presented, this idea of work programs to you guys, what I would do is I'd either take a salt bath or I'd put like a body tonic on, and then I'd sit and I'd do the process. When I presented the information, I didn't make it so that we had to do like all of it. The work program's pretty strong by itself, but if you don't have the time, or for me, sometimes like it's like, okay, it's the end of the day. I'd really like to do the org programming, but I don't have the juice in my legs. Like I just like I would love to say, oh yeah, I did the good fight and I did did the org program. Sometimes I slap a body tonic on and go, okay, I'm gonna do something else, and then I conk out. And so I mean for me, I'm just realistic with myself. Like if I can do it, I'll do it. But if I'm tired, even if I make myself do it, it won't be a very good version of it. And so, the idea of doing like a body tonic or a salt bath, I mean, a salt bath in a way is kind of like doing ORIC programming. Like if you were to work the blends and a salt bath, kind of is the lazy man's way of doing it. You know what I mean?
Okay. So it's not like something you would like make into like a lotion and rub into a sore muscle or something.
You could. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, you could. Especially like if there's trigger points. Even if there's not trigger points, it does help to unwind, but it doesn't unwind, how like we use an antispasmodic for like cramping and things like that. It unwinds the things around the muscles. And so you don't usually notice like an immediate like, oh, that feels amazing. It'll be more like 3 days later you'll go, my hip's not bothering me. It's one of those
Yeah.
things that's not instantaneous, but then as a little bit of time goes by, you'll go, I'm picking up boxes. My back was bothering me not too long ago, and that's weird. It's
Yeah.
kind of more like that. And
Right.
so the other thing too is for the trigger points and the fascial restrictions to happen, your body really is in some sort of um, like degenerative state, especially if it's in a particular area. It might not be the whole body. Like say you have a bad shoulder or something and there's some trigger point activity there, which is much more than just a tight muscle or something. Because trigger point and fascial lesions will start to cause like neurological dysfunctions, and it will affect how your mind works. It will affect cognitive abilities and function. And so a lot of times, I go through and I'll unwind some of the trigger points for myself. It's not so much that I'm going, oh, this is going to make my body feel better. It does. But I'm like, ugh, my mind's getting a little sluggish, or I'm not as sharp as I could. And so I'll start doing some of the things that are helpful. Like even the idea of using some of the pines to stimulate like cortisone and things like that in the body. All of that does reduce some of that, and cognitive abilities usually improve, not immediately, but like within a day or two, maybe three of using them. And part of that is it does reduce that potential for the fascial lesions and the trigger points. And so the mind starts getting clearer and starts getting stronger because it's not having those neurological stressors throughout the body.
Okay. Okay. About I don't know, 4 weeks ago now, maybe a little bit more, you had recommended to me to use the helichrysum on that point underneath my armpit on the
Yeah.
side for my,
Mhm.
opening that up. And it's been a real big help.
Yeah.
Does the fascial release have
It would be
benefit
the
in
same
that way?
idea. Yeah, it would be
Okay.
the totally same idea.
Okay.
The thing that I would say is for like topical use, helichrysum gets you there and is much cheaper. Like, and
Oh,
so like a lot of times I'll just say helichrysum. Like if you had a fascial release ointment, I'd say slap that on there. But it's got poplar in it. It's a bit more pricey. And
okay.
and so, even for myself, like when I'm doing things topically, I let usually helichrysum be the workhorse. I mean, I still take me a fascial release bath from time to time. I probably more than anything inhale it a lot
Mhm.
to help it unwind, and then I'll slap the helichrysum on the areas, and I find that to be a good combination. I mean,
Okay.
if you wanted to, it would be beneficial, but I mean, the big benefit I think is either in the inhalation or in the salt bath. But when you're doing spot treatments, it's pretty hard to beat the helichrysum. I mean, I think it would be a bit stronger, but like stronger, not if it was this
Right.
much
Maybe
stronger, I'd say do helichrysm, but
yeah.
you probably should do fascial release. Given the
Or
price and everything for a big topical application, helichrysm's the better bang for the buck.
right. But I could add the fascial release as an inhaling.
Oh,
So I
totally.
put that on before I go to bed,
Totally.
and then
Inhale,
do
how
this.
we did the quadrants,
Yeah.
and all that. I would inhale with how we do in some of the practices and Lama yoga and everything, where you put your awareness on part of the body and then you kind of feel it and then, observe it. I would
Mhm.
do that, but with the sore spots.
Okay.
Like in the Lama yoga, you're just trying to unwind the trauma loops. But like say, okay, you got that spot on your rib cage, or you have a shoulder, or you have a hip, or for me, for whatever reason, about this high above my ankles on both sides are just, ugh. I don't know what I did, but it's like, something in my youth. But like a lot of times I'll inhale it with my awareness on those areas. And it between that and the topical helichrysum, it's really the only thing that brings that area some relief. And so, you can use it as a spot treatment, but internal. One of the things that I used to have people do a long time ago, long time ago, is like take a drop and also put it on the ajna. And
Mm.
just for like a chakral thing, like put it on the ajna and then inhale.
Mhm.
But that was not so much for the aura, it was for spot treatments.
Ah,
Yeah.
okay.
Because if
Well,
you look at the energy body, when somebody has like a connective tissue problem, or their body has a lot of trigger points, or arthritis or whatever, the ajna shrinks a little bit and the navel will shrink a little bit. And like when you keep putting the fascial release on the ajna, it kind of regulates that ajna, because it's not so much about how like the normal things that the ajna does, but this being the master chakra, it's having something to do with like that anabolic state and the state of the connective tissue, and then it will also help to regulate the navel. And so I found that it was helpful in accelerating the recovery. I would say that the Auric program is stronger. But back then we weren't talking about the Auric program. This is like 15, 20 years ago.
mm,
And so I would just go hit the chakra, inhale it into the area. Let's call it good. Maybe a salt bath.
mhm.
And so, yeah.
Okay.
What's
Well, I'll try
another
it
one
with.
that's good for it is wintergreen. Wintergreen's not too bad for it's not as good as helichrysum, but wintergreen is really good for releasing the fascia, and especially if there's really stubborn, um, like long-term chronic spasms in an area. And
Mhm.
another one that's a really inexpensive one is, again, it doesn't work anywhere near as good as helichrysum, but terebinth can help release fascia. Yeah,
Mhm. Mhm. Cool. Thank you
yeah.
so much.
You're so welcome.
And then we do have some chat questions. So guys, if you want to raise your hand for the regular Q&A, you can now. We are going to finish with the chats and questions for the ARC program right now, though. What is in this fascial release?
We have to look it up. Let's see here. Um, poplar balsam, helichrysum, St. John's wort, Siberian fir, terebinth, wintergreen, palo santo, impapo, and Cape chamomile. Yeah, impapo actually works good for releasing fascia as well, just by itself.
And someone shared, thank you. What a perfect gift.
Yeah, good.
All right. And then next week we'll be on week 19 of our program journey, and your oil is going to be immune support, and we're going to be working the immune system.
Oh, yeah, that's a big one.